my house, my rules, my coffee. I'm Erin.
I'm Tom.
And this is Baby's First Watch List, the podcast where we are in our movie watching era. We have Oscar nominations. We have Sundance Film Festival, which is partially online. We're watching some of those. And
no, we're actually flying to Colorado or Utah every night.
And we have this. Today we are talking all things Knives Out.
Yeah.
This 2019 Rian Johnson whodunit was a smash hit when it was released and even netted what I think was a surprise Oscar nomination.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not by the time the Oscars came out, but when the
Right?
movie was being made, probably, yeah.
Right? So writer-director Johnson, best known for, like, what, The Last Jedi?
Yeah, and he did a bunch of Breaking Bad episodes.
Okay, like The Fly.
Yeah, and Ozymandias, which is like widely seen as the best episode of Breaking Bad.
I didn't like Breaking Bad.
You didn't get that far.
Too much Southwest, too much sand, not enough complex female characters.
You didn't even get to the Fly episode, did you?
No.
That is comedy.
I probably would have.
That is absolute comedy.
What else is Rian Johnson known for?
He wrote and directed Looper.
Yeah, with Bruce
Joseph
Willis and
Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totes. So he was interested in making this movie way back in 2005, wanting an Agatha Christie-inspired mystery.
Well, he did it.
Agatha Christie, if you don't know, I think she's like, other than the Bible and Shakespeare, the most best-selling author of all time.
The gal.
That's pretty good. The Bible's not the author of the Bible, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So Johnson cited lots of movies as inspiration. I didn't know most of them.
I was going to put them in the trivia section, but I didn't know them either.
I wrote down 3 that I knew. Murder on the Orient Express.
Of course.
Clue.
Yep.
And Gosford Park.
Yes. Love Gosford Park.
It was. I thought it was okay.
Was that Julian Fellows?
Yeah.
Is that who did that?
Yeah. Downton Abbey vibes. Even Christopher Plummer's character, Harlan Thrombey, was taken from a choose-your-own-adventure book entitled Who Killed Harlow Thrombey? Thrombey. So that's kind of interesting. I like little things like that. I also like...
He's a person who said, this is what I want to do. I want to make a reference to all these things, and I'm going to reference all these things.
And he did it.
Yeah.
I also like choose-your-own-adventure books because it helps me teach my students second-person perspective. Second person uses you, your, things like that. You don't see it very much in literature. Best known for being in things like recipe, first you do this, then you do that, poetry, and yes, choose your own adventure novels. Like apparently Who Killed Harlow Thrombey, which was from like 1981 or something.
The names, I'm probably going to talk about this a little bit later, but like the names in this movie are unreal.
And I think too,
he's a great namer.
I think also the names are done very purposefully so you kind of remember who people are.
Sort of.
Like, to me, I'm going to know that Linda's an older woman.
Right.
I'm going to know that Ransom is a younger guy.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Hugh?
Hugh is somewhere in the middle.
No.
Oh, that's Ransom's
Hugh is
real
Ransom.
name.
Yeah.
So I think that the names were kind of done in that way. Maybe?
Yeah, well, I mean, he does a good job in this movie, and again, we'll talk about this later, of making sort of caricatured characters, but still giving them their own, like, unique personalities.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. Knives Out was filmed in Massachusetts, no surprise there, in and around Boston. But much of the interior shots were filmed in Ames Mansion in Borderlands State Park in Massachusetts, which we could go to.
Yeah, maybe we will.
Other movies that were filmed...
Maybe we will. I follow somebody on Instagram. Is this an influencer? A person on Instagram who goes to locations of movies and takes pictures there?
Well, you're influenced, aren't you?
I am influenced.
Well, there you go.
Consider me influenced.
So
Leslie Love Film Locations on Instagram.
Now Tom's talking about his influencers. Take that, Dougherty doesn't. So,
Alicia, are you listening?
Other movies that were filmed in the Borderlands State Park, both in and around it, are Mermaids, Shutter Island,
Okay.
and the 2015 Ghostbusters.
Huh.
So it's a pretty cool movie location. Knives Out has an all-star cast. Duh, you
Unreal.
know this. Including Daniel Craig Anna de Armas, Christopher Plummer, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Michael Shannon, Toni Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, and Don Johnson. Yes, and Don Johnson.
And Edie Patterson.
Who?
She's from Righteous Gemstones. She's in a
Oh,
bunch of stuff.
yeah. She played the...
Fran.
Yeah, Fran.
Say Catherine Langford.
Listen, I'm not putting everybody in there.
Well, it's funny because the movie's so ridiculous that like Lakeith Stanfield totally gets lost in the shuffle.
Right.
Like, which is crazy to
And
think.
the other cop is in stuff too.
Yeah, but he's not famous like that, you know?
Yeah, like Catherine Langford.
No, like Lakeith Stanfield, I mean.
Right. No, it's true. With a just all right runtime of 130 minutes, a little too long, but it didn't feel like it was that
No,
long.
not at all.
Knives Out was both a critical and commercial success. With a $40 million budget, it made $311.9 million.
What was the budget?
$40 million.
Jeez.
And just, wow. It currently is 97% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It was nominated for 3 Golden Globes, including Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy. And the screenplay was nominated for the BAFTA and the Oscar.
It's an excellent screenplay.
It is an excellent screen. It's a perfect Agatha Christie
Yeah.
style mystery. And Agatha Christie also, just my queen, she's known for writing the book And Then There Were None, as well as Murder on the Orient Express. She also does a lot of like detective stories. So like Hercule Poirot is one of her. That's very difficult for me to say. One of her hero detectives. So is Miss Marple, and so you would have Miss Marple in every book solving like a different mystery.
Meghan Marple.
No. And Agatha Christie also kind of had her own little self-mystery where she like disappeared for a while and popped up again later saying she like it never talked about what happened, which is kind of it's sad. She just suffered from mental illness, I think, but it's still she kind of made her own so I feel like that is kind of what Johnson was trying to do with what Harlan did as well. Right? Trying to do one last mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a nod, maybe.
Yeah.
To all Agatha.
Well, and he in the movie, Christopher Plummer, Harlan Thrombey dies at 85 years old, which is how old Agatha Christie died when how old she was when she died.
There you go.
Yep.
Now, I mentioned Poirot and Miss Marple. Johnson was always interested in creating a similar thing, sort of sequels, with Detective Benoit Blanc investigating kind of unrelated mysteries. Netflix bought the rights for 2 sequels. Glass Onion was released on Netflix after one successful weekend in theaters right before Christmas of this past year, 2022. As with its predecessor, Glass Onion did really well. It was nominated for Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy at the Golden Globes, and the Academy Award for Best Screenplay, this time adapted instead of original, because it is a sequel based on characters or whatever.
If you listen to our previous episode, our Oscar preview, we went over that.
Yeah. And another movie, another Knives Out one is in the works.
Great.
Both of them have what in common, though, besides Benoit Blanc?
What? Both of what? The
Knives Out and Glass Onion. Their titles.
Oh, they're from something else?
They're Radiohead songs.
Oh, I didn't know Glass Onion was.
Is it? Did I make that up?
I don't know. I'm gonna be your fact checker right here.
Is Glass Onion?
You might be right. I'm not a
reference?
I'm not a Radiohead
Stan?
aficionado.
I'm literally not either.
It's a Beatles song.
Oh shoot! So it's based on.
You should know that.
I should know that. I took a whole Beatles capstone in college. I at one point was like a walking encyclopedia on all things.
Yeah, you were.
Beatles. Now it's a little rusty, clearly. So it's all.
It was on the White Album.
So both of them are based on musical references.
Yes.
Which kind of has like no point. He said for Knives Out,
Something
there's like
likes.
no connection.
Knives Out's a great title.
All right. Now, Tom, I think you need to rush through a summary because we have so many questions that are going to have tons of answers.
I'm going to do my best. But
so blah, blah, blah. We get it. Murder mystery.
I've got a great I've got a well plotted, a well planned out plot summary.
It's kind of difficult.
I had to add a lot of color to the Wikipedia one.
Oh,
It
really?
would jump through a lot of like random stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like they kind of go back and forth with like reveals
Yeah.
that you could fill in earlier
Yeah.
or whatever.
So why don't I get started?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we open up at the Massachusetts estate of Harlan Thrombey, played by Christopher Plummer, where the morning after his 85th birthday party, his housekeeper Fran, played by Edie Patterson, finds him dead with his throat slit in his bedroom. Knives out. The following day,
The knife was out.
two police officers, Lieutenant Elliott and Trooper Wagner. Lieutenant Elliott is Lakeith Stanfield. Trooper Wagner is Noah Segan. They assemble the attendees to Thrombey's party to gather everyone's stories. The interviewees include Linda and Richard Drysdale, played by Jamie Lee Curtis and Don Johnson, respectively. Thrombey's eldest daughter and her husband. Walt Thrombey, played by Michael Shannon, his youngest son, and his wife, whose name I didn't write down. And Joni Thrombey, played by Toni Collette, the widow of his deceased son. Each tells their version of the previous night's events, clearly lying about or embellishing one small detail or another. Accompanying the police is Private Detective Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, who has been hired by an unknown client to investigate Harlan's death. While Elliott and Wagner believe the death to be a suicide, Blanc points out that Harlan had strained relationships with each of his family members. For example, Blanc learns that Harlan threatened to expose Richard for cheating on Linda. He cut off his daughter-in-law Joni's allowance for stealing from him. He fired Walt from his publishing company, and he had an altercation with his grandson, Ransom, played by Chris Evans. We learn that Harlan's nurse, Marta Cabrera, played by Ana de Armas, mixed up his medications after playing a game of Go, making her think she overdosed him with morphine and was unable to find the antidote, leaving Harlan minutes to live. Wanting to save Marla's undocumented mother from scrutiny, Harlan gives Marta instructions to create a false alibi by pretending to leave and returning through a side tower window, and then he slits his own throat. As Marta carries out his instructions, she's spotted by Harlan's seemingly ageless mother, who mistook her for Ransom. Marta's tick is that she can't lie without vomiting. And it comes up a bunch of times. So when Blanc questions her about the previous night, she gives accurate but incomplete answers and agrees to assist Blanc's investigation. Right before Harlan's will is read, Ransom, or Hugh, as he makes the housekeeper call him by his birth name, shows up to egg on the family as they begin to fight, with Walt and Richard coming to blows, much to Ransom's delight. He's like eating cookies and stuff the whole time. He loves it. The executor of Harlan's estate reads the will and, to the shock of the Thrombey clan, reveals that Harlan left all of his possessions, including the very house they stand in, to his nurse, Marta.
I mean, I saw that coming, right?
They didn't. Ransom helps Marta escape the family, but at a diner, he makes sure that she eats a full meal and then manipulates her into confessing everything to him, since he knows she will vomit if she lies. He offers Marta help fending off the Thrombeys in exchange for some of the inheritance. After the other Thrombeys fail to persuade Marta to renounce the inheritance, Walt shows up at her home and threatens to expose her mother's immigration status after learning of it from Meg, Joni's daughter, played by Katherine Langford. Marta then receives a blackmail note with a partial photocopy of Harlan's toxicology report, indicating that someone knows she gave him the fatal dose of morphine. She and Ransom drive to the medical examiner's office, but it's been burned down. And right as Marta receives an email proposing a meeting with the blackmailer, Blanc and the police spot her car, and after a brief car chase, they arrest Ransom. Blanc explains that Harlan's mother saw Ransom climbing down from Harlan's room the night he died. At the meeting, Marta finds Fran, the housekeeper, drugged, and she performs CPR and calls an ambulance. As she does so, Fran continues to whisper to her, "You did this, you did this." Marta heads to Blanc and confesses, but Ransom has already informed on her, and Marta decides to tell the family that she caused Harlan's death, which would invalidate the will under the Slayer rule, a doctrine essentially stopping a person from inheriting property from someone they more likely than not caused the death of. Back at the mansion, Marta finds the full toxicology report in Fran's weed stash and gives it to Blanc without reading it. Blanc reveals that it shows very little morphine in Harlan's system, and he interrupts Marta before she can confess. Blanc reveals his deductions to the detectives, Marta, and Ransom. After Ransom learned Harlan was leaving everything to Marta at the birthday party, Blanc reveals, Ransom swapped the contents of Harlan's medication vials and stole the antidote so Marta would kill Harlan and thus become ineligible to claim the inheritance. But Marta gave Harlan the correct medication, subconsciously recognizing it despite the incorrect label, and she only thought she had poisoned him. When the death was reported as a suicide, it was Ransom who anonymously hired Blanc to expose Marta. Fran saw Ransom tampering with the crime scene and sent him the blackmail note, but Ransom forwarded it to Marta and burned down the medical examiner's office to destroy evidence not of her guilt but of her innocence. Ransom had overdosed Fran with morphine, intending for Marta to get caught with Fran's corpse and planted evidence. Marta realizes that when Fran was saying, you did this, she was saying, Hugh did this. Hugh did this.
One of my favorite things.
Meaning Hugh,
Ransom.
because Ransom made the help call him Hugh.
Right.
And so the hospital calls, and Marta relays that Fran survived and will implicate Ransom. Ransom scoffs that since his attempt to kill Fran failed, his lawyers will help him escape attempted murder charges because he's rich and he's got great lawyers and all that. Finally, Marta vomits on him, revealing that she lied. Fran is actually, unfortunately, dead.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Realizing that he has now confessed to a murder, with Wagner having recorded the conversation, Ransom attacks Marta with a knife from Harlan's collection, which turns out to be a retractable stage knife, and he is arrested by the police. Linda finds a note from Harlan about her husband's adultery. Blanc tells Marta he suspected early on that she played a part in Harlan's death, noting a drop of blood on her shoe, which we see earlier. They zoom in on it. As Ransom is taken into custody, Marta watches from the balcony of what is now her mansion, with the Thromby family gathered outside. The final shot is Marta drinking from this very mug on my table. My house, my rules, my coffee. Knives Out.
That was really good, Tom. It was an awful, if you just read that, you don't get the movie.
There's no
at
humor.
all.
There's no, there's no, that when they're arguing about politics,
No
there's
thriller aspect.
none of the personality of it. Yeah.
But that was
it's a cold, hard summary.
Efficient summary.
It's a cold, hard summary.
Okay.
You've watched Knives Out. You don't need the summary. The summary's here. It's pro forma.
Yeah. First question. This one takes place in Massachusetts. The second one is in is it Greece? An island off Greece?
Something like that.
Or something.
Some private
It's
island.
like a little private island. Where do you think a good third Knives Out movie would take place, or what the situation would be?
A good third Knives Out movie would take place in the same place at the same time as season 3 of The White Lotus. Wherever that may be in the world. I don't care. That's where it's got to take place. I want Benoit Blanc solving who was killed in season 3 of The White Lotus.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's not a bad answer.
What about you?
Probably Dorney Park.
Yeah, it's something random, like a small place, like
Dollywood.
Yeah, well, I mean, those aren't the same. Dollywood's a famous place.
Dorney Park's famous.
Ish.
It's where Move Along was filmed. Okay, wait. I have to talk about that. No, I have to talk about that.
Okay.
So we were every now and then, you know how we do Vine compilation nights some days. Other times we'll do pick a year that we were in college or whatever, and we'll just listen to music from that year. So we did it for I don't know, when we were in early high school or something, before we knew each other. And one of the songs was Move Along by the All American Rejects. And
how does it go?
move along, like I know you do. And so I remember saying to Tom, oh, this music video, I think there's a whole it flashes and he falls off of a diving board, and so Tom looks it up and
wait, we looked it up and then we were no, it's not this one.
Yeah, well, no, we looked it up and
we looked up another All American Reject song,
yeah,
or something, or some related song, and we were is it this one? Is it this one?
We were looking at Dirty Little Secret or whatever, but then what we saw was on the Wikipedia
page, for Less Than Jake.
No, at first it was Move Along, I think. It was this music video was filmed in Dorney Park.
Yes.
So we're watching the music video for Move Along, and there's absolutely no way it was filmed at Dorney Park. So we kept looking for it, and we ended up finding a Kids Bop knockoff version of Move Along.
It was the Less Than Jake Wikipedia page that told us to look for the Kids Bop version.
And we found it, and Move Along, the Kids Bop I think it was a knockoff Kids Bop though.
Whatever it is, I think it was Kids Bop.
They filmed at Dorney Park.
Kids Bop, Move Along, Dorney Park. Some of my favorite words in the English language.
Like a 2-hour Knives Out murder mystery.
By the end of it, we were crying.
We had no idea. We were like, where is this Dorney Park hidden music video? We found it.
I just got a text from my friend Nick, not Nick Palesi, another friend Nick, who will be on the podcast eventually. And he said, watching Knives Out after the sequel makes me enjoy this so much more.
There you go. Okay, so turns out the answer is Dorney Park. The third Knives Out movie will take place at Dorney Park, which I've never been to Dorney Park.
Why wouldn't White Lotus Season 3 also take place at Dorney Park? We could combine these.
Yeah, maybe. That would be kind of fun.
They could do like a crossover. Like there's now a White Lotus Hotel because they're teaming up with Dorney Park.
So speaking of the third one, who would you want to see in the third one? Because we have so many famous people in Knives Out. There are so many famous people in Glass Onion, including Kate Hudson, Janelle Monáe,
Dave Bautista,
Edward Norton.
I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say
Catherine
that
Hahn.
Dave Bautista would be my number one overall person I would have wanted in a Knives Out movie, and I'm glad he was in Glass Onion.
Who would you want in the third one? Knives Out, Dorney Park.
Jennifer Coolidge. No, I'm not gonna do the whole White Lotus thing. I would like to see Christian Bale.
That would be good.
I think that he would go nuts.
I think so too.
I don't know if he would be like the villain. I don't know what he would be.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what you ask him to do, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it well.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'll keep thinking too.
I think I would like to see Post Malone.
Post Malone. Oh yes, absolutely. Little Nas X.
Yeah, I would like him. I would like Dr. Ken Jeong.
Zendaya.
Yeah, I think she would be a good one.
Yeah, she's great in everything.
I also think Nicole Scherzinger.
Okay.
Robin Thicke, maybe.
We're gonna go with the whole Masked Singer crew.
I want 4 of Nick Cannon's children.
Yeah.
We don't need Jenny McCarthy.
No, we don't. We need any 4 of Nick Cannon's children.
Any 4 of his children.
Possibly as of yet unborn as well.
You never know, right?
Could be future children.
Well, we have 4 Nick Cannon's children.
Why don't we
5 of NBA Youngboy's children.
Yes. Why don't we do
sprinkle of Elon twins and we're good.
Why don't we also do like Peyton Manning?
I mean, yeah, let's do.
Or we could do Eli. We could do Eli.
What about the third brother?
Cooper.
Let's get Cooper Manning.
All right, we're gonna do Cooper Manning
and Gronk.
Can we just throw Terry Bradshaw in while we're at it?
No, we have to do Terry Bradshaw's second daughter.
Terry Bradshaw was going to get there, but he actually got kicked off the plane on the way there, so he wasn't able to make it.
And then finally, to kind of just wrap it all up, let's just do Ronda Rousey.
Okay. I was going to say The Undertaker, but we'll go with Ronda Rousey.
Call it a day.
Perfect.
I think that sounds really good.
That's a great first recasting of Knives Out, because we're going to get to it. We have multiple recasts later on.
Yeah, we did a lot of that. I said here that there is a really good tagline to this movie. Everyone has a motive. No one has a clue.
Whoa.
Isn't that a really good tagline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a Clue reference.
Yeah. It's really good. I said here, which Knives Out movie did you prefer?
I agree with my friend who just texted me. I liked Glass Onion. Don't get me wrong. And I think it's sort of a Hangover 2 situation where like if Glass Onion came out first, it would have been like, oh my God, this is amazing. But the fact that this first one already exists and it's much tighter and it's much, the characters have more of a reason to be interacting with one another and there's more chemistry. I have to go with this one and it's not particularly close.
Yeah.
I don't think, like I said, I don't think the second one was bad, but rewatching this one after we just watched Glass Onion a couple of weeks ago sort of reaffirmed the fact that this is the one.
Yeah, that's good.
I also like the setting better.
I like the setting better. Too.
I'm like a haunted house. I said that I wanted this house when we were talking about was it Scream?
Yeah.
And how there used to be an Airbnb at the Scream house, like the whole like last half of the movie when everyone like dies. And Erin asked me, or I asked her, or whatever, what house would you want to live in, or would you do that at any house? And I said the Knives Out mansion.
Yeah. It is a really cool house.
Yeah.
That's why we have to go to the Ames Mansion in Massachusetts.
Can we get that giant portrait of Christopher Plummer and put it on our living room wall?
We probably should.
All right. Hey, if anybody wants to buy that for us, get in touch and we'll figure it out.
Now think back to 2019, one of the best movie years ever.
Great year.
Because it ends in a 9, and that's my theory. That movies that have a year that end in 9 have a higher chance of being good.
Was Gone with the Wind 1939?
Oh, we don't really do Gone with the Wind, but yes, actually it was.
I was trying to think. That was the one thing. That was the one movie I knew from like a really random early year.
And I think there was a really famous movie from 1959 too that came out. But whatever.
Sure.
This is the truth. So when you watched it back in 2019, we were in our movie watching bag.
It was just unfortunately post Movie Pass.
Yeah. Oh my God. We did have We'll have to do like a Movie Pass episode.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Movie Pass.
Yeah. A Movie Pass deep dive. Movie Pass is coming back.
Apparently. I don't think I'm buying in, man.
As long as you don't buy stock.
We did Movie Pass and it was amazing. And we did it just so that we broke even.
Oh yeah.
So that was
we
okay.
did like 2 a month or whatever you had to do.
One a month. It was one a month.
It was one a month.
And we saved money because it was $10 a month. But we
Beautiful.
had friends who would go like 3 times a week. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And they would see like every movie. It was like, there's no way that this is sustainable. And it wasn't, obviously.
Was that like 2017, 18? Like we saw like
whenever Phantom Thread came out.
Phantom Thread came out in 2017.
Yes. So it was 2017. Oh my God. What a time to be alive.
Unreal.
So
today's kids will never know.
No, they won't. So if you, when you watched in 2019, do you remember if you guessed it?
I didn't.
No.
Like who like
yeah,
Ransom?
Like, yeah.
No. And I came out afterwards being like, Rian Johnson's so smart because they paint him as the culprit from the start.
Yeah.
And then he's not. Like you think, oh, he's nice. He's helping out Marta. And then no, he actually is the bad guy. He jumped out in front of it and was like, you're gonna suspect this guy, obviously. But I'm going to pull that away from you because they don't give it away in the first act. You know, it's like he plays with the structure of a mystery so well that he knows what the audience is looking for and he's able to subvert that.
I feel like he does it with the second one too. I'm not going to say who the murderer is, but with both of those movies, when the reveal happens, I'm like, why didn't I guess that? Duh.
Yeah.
And I think that's so well done.
And again, mild spoiler for Glass Onion, so skip ahead like 10 seconds. When he's like, it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so dumb.
Right. Well, that's it. That's what really makes a good mystery is when the reveal happens and you're mad that you didn't get it because it was there, but there was no way you were going to get it.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that both of the Knives Out movies did that really well.
I think that you could have, I mean, I'm not saying that nobody got this one, but like this was one of those where it was a little tricky, and if you got it, it was sort of like everybody else was on a level playing field in the narrative. So it's like there's usually that one outlier, just like in Glass Onion, there's like a little bit of an outlier as you can tell as you go through.
Right.
And it was the outlier.
Right.
So I think that that would be the only way to get to it.
It's kind of like, I feel like you only get it if you guessed right. It's kind of like when we went to the Golden Girls murder mystery dinner.
Exactly. I was gonna bring this up too.
We went to a Golden Girls murder mystery dinner at Peddler's Village, and it was amazing. And
it was my first exposure to Golden Girls, and I haven't looked back.
And I guessed it right, and I won the prize, which was a mug. And
we have it somewhere.
You had to put
Didn't the guy say like, "Oh, here's a mug that you're gonna have in your trunk for the next 6 years."
Exactly. And we do have it still. And you had to write down who you thought the murderer was and why. And I wrote Rose, and I said, I don't know why. And they picked my name out because it was Rose. And they were like, she said she doesn't know why. Whatever, you still win. Because I was like, I'm just guessing. And that's literally what like Glass Onion and Knives Out, where I was just like, I'll just guess. I kind of
Did you guess Glass Onion right?
No, I didn't guess any of it right. I'm not
either.
guessing. I go along with the ride.
That's fair.
I'm just like, yo, it'll get me there. So I honestly, like, all the other questions that I have, you already have too.
Okay.
So I just want to ask one other thing. If this was if this was made in 2019 like it was and Daniel Craig was unavailable,
Ooh.
who do you think would be a good Benoit Blanc?
I don't think I would have the potential Benoit Blanc have a Foghorn Leghorn accent because I can only hear that with Daniel Craig now.
Yeah.
He's a posh British man has taken the Foghorn Leghorn accent and made it his own.
Sure.
So I think I would maybe do a different take on the character. Did you ask me this beforehand?
I sent it to you.
No, I missed it. I would say maybe like I'm trying to think of somebody who's good in serious roles, but would like sort of have like a fun like Brian Tyree Henry.
That's a good one.
Somebody like that where it's like this person shouldn't be doing this and it's weird that they're doing this, but it's funny and it's good.
He played a reporter in something.
Did he?
Yeah.
Somebody like that. Either that or you just go do like a Danny McBride.
Yeah.
You know? And just go all in the other way. Like somebody who should be doing this.
Yeah, I like that.
Like Danny McBride as a detective would be absurd.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
There's like some sort of like mystery elements to the Righteous Gemstones. And he's out of control. He's the best. I love Danny McBride.
I like that.
You either love Danny McBride or you don't.
Yeah.
And I love Danny McBride.
Yeah, why not? What's not to like? That's a good answer. Okay.
What about you? Do you have one?
Yeah, Michael Cera.
Oh, okay, perfect. So we'll do the Pineapple Express. Or no, he wasn't in Pineapple Express, was he?
No, he's in This Is the End.
Manon
said Charlie Hunnam? Why?
That would certainly be surprising.
That would be what? Has he been in anything in the past 5 years?
He was in King Arthur, wasn't he?
Okay. Well, there you have it. I have other questions, but I feel like
why not?
them.
Why not? What's his name? From Succession. Brian Cox.
Oh yeah,
Brian Cox
good.
as Benoit Blanc.
He would be awesome. No, Jeremy Strong though.
He would be so nervous.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't. No, the people in Succession, I don't think would be very good.
You don't think Kieran Culkin?
Just Shiv would be good. That's it.
Oh,
Sarah
like
Smith
actually
would be
good?
The only one. Like someone that would be a just chill character.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like Benoit
Nicholas
Blanc.
Braun.
No, he radiates nerves. Just absolute radiates insecurity and nerves.
All of them do.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that would not be good.
Shiv does too.
Yeah, but she can fake it better.
I don't think so.
Well, all right. Ask your dang question.
What is your favorite murder mystery? It could be a TV show. It could be a movie, a book, whatever.
So,
Besides the Golden Girls murder mystery dinner that we went to.
I have this whole paragraph.
Good. I don't have any, so it's perfect.
My favorite overall, and it's good because it's. You want to guess?
Is it a movie?
It's yes.
Is it Wind River?
No, but Wind River's on my list. It's both a movie and a book.
Oh. Gone Girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gone Girl is the correct answer for the best murder mystery. Gone Girl's amazing. You should read it, then watch it. It's just very well done. For books, some good ones that I like. The Silent Patient is one that I feel like is going to be made into a movie soon or a TV show soon or something like that.
Okay.
Very, very popular. Big twist I did not see coming. I enjoyed it. I'll Be Gone in the Dark is a
Is that
nonfiction. It's a murder mystery.
Okay.
Why not?
No, I was just wondering because it's nonfiction.
About the catching of the Golden State Killer, who hadn't been caught by the time the book was published, but like literally 2 weeks after it was published, he got caught. In Cold Blood.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, that's also nonfiction. Yeah,
Truman Capote. It's kind of the beginning of narrative nonfiction. Excellent. This is also nonfiction. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Okay.
Which is really, really, really well done. It is the only reality TV star memoir that my cousin Kate has on her bookshelf.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good job, Kate.
She has 2 books that Stassi wrote. She has Big Ange's book. She has Shep's book from Southern Charm. Eric Jane's book. She's got them all, but she also has Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Yeah, really random. In a Dark, Dark Wood, which is about a bachelorette party gone wrong. One of Us is Lying. If you're into young adult literature, is a really good, fun, quick kind of murder mystery that takes. It's kind of like if The Breakfast Club ended badly.
Okay.
It's really good.
I haven't seen The Breakfast Club, but I know the ending. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Movies. I did say Wind River.
Yeah.
I said Scream.
I was gonna ask if
Does
that's
horror count?
if that's a murder. Well, I think it counts because yes, it's a slasher film, but
you don't know who.
You don't know the identity
murderer
of the
is.
killer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Searching.
Yeah.
Which is John Cho, when it's all through like his laptop, so like you see all these screens and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all like he'll text somebody and the text will pop up on your screen. And he'll be like zooming people.
It sounds kind of hokey, but the concept actually plays out pretty well.
If you hadn't seen Searching and you watched Modern Family, they did an episode of
they
that
did?
where it's all through like FaceTimes and screens and stuff.
Okay. Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that episode.
It's actually well done. Memento.
Yes.
Which is very much one of those. Film bro. Oh my God, you went
Nolan.
to college and you like illegally downloaded some movies.
Yeah. Memento.
But Memento's good.
There's some of those movies like the Nolan movies and things like and movies like that where it's like, yeah, they're like that, but they're also really good.
I get that.
You know?
Yeah. Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Is a good murder
Absolutely.
mystery. Seven.
Is
really good. We have What's in the Box. You find out what's in the box. It's not good.
I didn't mind what was in the box, to be honest.
Yo, that's rude. Rear Window.
Yep.
Classic. Mystic
also,
River.
Disturbia.
And Disturbia is an amazing movie.
There's a Rear Window remake.
It's so good.
Reimagining.
Yeah, I love that movie. Mystic River.
Oh yeah.
That's a
Gone
classic.
Baby Gone.
Oh, I didn't put Gone Baby Gone. That's a good one.
Us.
Okay, yeah, Us is good. I know it's kind of some of these are twisting it a little bit.
They're not
Prisoners.
Yeah, these movies aren't murder mysteries in the sense of like Clue,
right,
or like that, but
right.
There's murder and there are also mysteries.
Right. Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Classic. Psycho.
Sure.
And Fargo.
One of my favorites. It's an oldie, maybe the oldest movie I've ever seen. Rebecca.
Yeah, 1940.
Love Rebecca.
And then shows Broadchurch, which we just recommended to our friend.
Yes.
Nick. Mayor of Easttown.
Sharp Objects.
Sharp Objects. Big Little Lies. And you know what? Let's throw in Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
I love Veronica Mars.
Great.
So I love murder mysteries. I'm actually not a huge fan of the Agatha Christie style ones because I find that oftentimes they get a little convoluted.
Well, and they've also been done since better. You know, like they've been
Right.
proved upon the formula, but
Right.
without that formula, you never would have had what you have now.
Totally.
Knives Out wouldn't exist without
Yeah.
Poirot.
Like I don't really read a lot of
What about? I got two more for you.
Yeah.
Zodiac
Oh, that's good.
and Memories of Murder.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that movie. So many drop kicks.
Oh, yeah, you got to watch that. If you're a Parasite fan, same director. I mean, Memories of Murders.
It's so good.
It's the best.
One of my faves.
It's the best.
Yeah, I just like the genre and I like the books. I got off of them for a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get back to a couple thrillers, a couple suspense ones.
Yeah.
And I always like my true crime, although I've been a little bit off of that, but not really. I say it, but then I watch it.
Yep.
What are some other questions you got, Tom?
Who gives the best performance in this movie? It's okay. Well,
The
obviously,
Tony Soprano effect.
well, yeah, obviously it's Daniel Craig,
Yeah.
and I think 1B obviously is Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
What about after that?
I actually think, I really do think Anna de Armas
She's the
is
one I
really,
would
really
say.
well done on it.
Yeah.
And then if I'm going from the family, I'm saying Toni Collette.
Okay, I would have said Michael Shannon,
Of course you would.
but of course you would say Toni Collette.
Why?
I don't know. It seems like the person out of that group that you would like the most.
I loved her character. And I think Toni Collette is who people think Cate Blanchett is.
How so?
Who they think Meryl Streep is. Toni Collette is a very... I'm not saying nothing against Cate Blanchett. I'm just doing a play off of what
I said last time, yeah.
I just think Toni Collette is a very... she's an actress with so much range. And she's not really appreciated for that range.
Oh, no, not at all.
In fact, I'm pretty sure
And
she
both of them were in
plays-
Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, they were. And I think didn't she do United States of Terra, a woman that has
That sounds right.
a disorder with
Yeah, I don't know.
different personalities or something like that. So she is a very
Hereditary.
varied actress. Yes.
Yeah.
So compare this movie to Hereditary to Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
Like she does
She's
it
great.
all.
You're not going to catch me hating on Toni Collette.
I love Toni Collette. I got you a hat that said "Nominate Toni Collette, you cowards."
Yes, I don't know where it is. We have it here somewhere.
So probably Toni Collette. Although I gotta say, Ana de Armas, I was super impressed by.
I watched that movie and I was like, she's going to be the biggest actress in Hollywood.
And
like,
now we have to watch Blonde, and we're like, ugh.
I know. And she kind of is one of the biggest actresses in Hollywood.
Yeah, she kind of.
Even
She's
though
gorgeous.
Even though Deep Water was apparently terrible.
Yeah,
Her movie with Ben Affleck
I'd watch it.
that spawned that whole saga.
Well, that was a it's almost like a throwback to the like erotic thrillers of the 90s.
Yeah, the Adrian Lymes.
Which were
Unfaithful.
What's Unfaithful was the most fun that Tom and I had watching a movie in a long time.
That movie was wild.
That was wild. I love wild movies like that. Basic Instinct and what's the one with Glenn Close? I Won't Be Ignored, Dan. That one with the bunny.
Oh yeah, what is that one?
I don't
It's
remember.
not Fatal Attraction, is
That's
it?
it. Fatal Attraction. I love those kinds of movies.
Those
So
are great
fun.
titles too.
Oh, the best.
Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct. Those are great titles.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And they
Even
and
Unfaithful.
right, and they perfectly describe the movie.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah.
I want to watch them now.
I'm a big fan of a good title.
Oh, the best. Like Knives Out.
Yeah, Knives Out's a great title.
All right, you said Michael Shannon.
Yeah, my guy, Michael Shannon. He's wild. He's limping around. You don't know what his deal is. Like, there's a deleted scene where they explain that, but like,
yeah, but it's funny that you don't know.
yeah, he's got like the weird like right wing son.
Yeah, that he's like, I'm so proud of him. He's politically active or something.
yes. Yeah, and he's like spewing like all this hate speech.
Yeah.
The son is.
Yeah.
And like Michael Shannon is perfectly like the perfect mix of clueless, selfish,
And seething,
menacing at times
Yeah.
when he hands her all the when he talks about her
Uh-huh.
mom and the how they know she's undocumented and all
Yeah.
that. And he's the best. Ryan Johnson said, I'm not going to save this for trivia. Ryan Johnson said that he was the funniest person on set.
I believe it.
And he improv'd a lot of his lines.
Remember when he was nominated for an Oscar and he was just like at a bar?
Yeah.
Or was it for the
No,
Oscar ceremony?
The Shape of Water, when it won Best Picture, he wasn't nominated, but
Okay.
he was watching it from a bar. He wasn't on stage with them. He wasn't at the place. There was a picture of him at a bar watching
It's so good.
The Shape of Water win. And he was one of my favorite parts of Shape of Water.
He was snubbed then.
He was an amazing villain in that movie.
Yeah.
And I find him to be great in everything.
He's a great actor.
Every time I see him in something, I'm like, this guy is ridiculous. The first thing I saw him in was Boardwalk Empire, and he played like this
Smokey the guy.
very Catholic, repressed
Johnny Meatballs.
No, he played like a Catholic repressed like FBI agent or something that was that was trying to get Steve Buscemi's character.
Capone.
No, well, yeah, but Steve Buscemi's character, and he was just a terrible guy, awful guy, and he was one of my favorite parts of the show because he was a great villain.
Does he ever play happy?
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not.
But Ryan Johnson said that there were a few lines in here that he improv'd, and including the one where the son doesn't say that much in the movie.
He yelled something that was really bad.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
And that was what he said that like in the background. And Michael Shannon, after that take, went up to Ryan Johnson and was like, this is such a ridiculous line. The kid improv'd that line.
Yeah.
And Michael Shannon went up to Ryan Johnson and was like, you got to redo this take. And this kid has to say this louder because this is going to like play perfectly.
Right.
And it does. And it's terrible, but it plays perfectly for what they're trying to get across in the movie.
Yeah.
So he was apparently like low-key the MVP of the set.
Love that.
Yeah, he's the best.
Go Mike.
Yeah, love you, Mikey. There was another thing that he was in that he was also the villain in like the Superman, like Man of Steel, which he was good in.
Who cares?
I liked him in that.
You know what? Superman, he can go kick rocks.
I'll tell you what, I don't really like Superman, but I liked 2013's Man of Steel.
Did you?
I did. It was pretty good.
Amy Adams.
Yeah, Russell Crowe, Diane Lane.
Who played the bald guy?
He wasn't in that. Lex Luthor.
Kal-El.
You're talking. You're talking.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor was Jesse Eisenberg, and that was years later. and that was a really bad casting.
That's not good casting.
But it was bad casting, and
Who's Kal-El?
Kal-El is Superman's like Krypton name.
Kal-El, no.
Kal-El, no. Now we're just making fun of Gal Gadot's accent, which is rude.
Oh my god.
Oh, we gotta watch Bullet Train. Michael Shannon's in Bullet Train.
Oh, I definitely want to see Bullet Train.
Yeah, he's great in so much stuff.
I tried to like figure out like how my Aunt Sue would know Brian Tyree Henry. The closest I got was Bullet Train.
Okay.
Because she, believe it or not, had never seen Atlanta.
She never seen Eternals?
No, I asked.
She didn't watch Widows?
And I asked. No. So, and even Bullet Train, no.
Also, I just want to shout out Don Johnson because he's the best.
He's the best.
Anyway, what did you think about the narratives, like the beginning of how they introduced everything? So the beginning, they have the interviews with everybody, and each person's telling the story from their own perspective, kind of.
Yeah.
Like little parts of the story.
Yeah.
Do you think that works in movies, or is it a little cheap?
I think it works in movies like this.
Yeah.
Where it's all done very, very purposefully.
Yeah.
I think that if it's done as a crutch, it's not good. But I don't think that was the case here. I think that it was done purposefully. And it's almost a way for you as the viewer to kind of be able to be in the same mindset of the detectives of trying to
piece
figure
it
it
together.
out.
Yeah.
So for this particular purpose, yeah, I think it was totally fine, especially because he didn't do the same thing with Glass Onion.
Yeah.
So that proves that it was a purposeful point and not a crutch to lean on.
Either that, or as he was writing Glass Onion, he was like, okay, I can't do that again.
Well, either way.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Because I actually thought it was effective.
And I found the device used in Glass Onion slightly less effective.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that if we ever get to that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I also wrote, can we talk about how perfect the names are in this movie, which we sort of touched on in the beginning?
We did.
A great name to me like makes or breaks a character.
Sure.
Toni Collette's character is the perfect Joni.
Yeah.
Plummer is the perfect Harlan Thrombey. Jamie Lee Curtis is a great Linda.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Hugh Ransom Drysdale. What is that? What is that? And of course, Benoit Blanc. Benoit Blanc is the
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc is the perfect. Like what? How is he French? He's like Bayou, I guess.
Yeah, maybe French Bayou. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from New Orleans.
Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Benoit Blanc is the perfect detective name for something like this.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know I needed it.
Yeah.
And then I got it.
I'm gonna sort of segue into a different question. Instead of my question here was, can we talk about how great the names are? That's not really the question. But my real question is, how many people's how many people's roles in this movie are your favorite roles from them? Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, let's see.
All of them, pretty much.
Daniel Craig. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Ana de Armas. Yeah.
So far. For both of them,
Yeah.
Who knows? Daniel Craig was also low-key great in a similar way in Logan Lucky.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
But he's not the same character. He's just trashy. Like he calls them Ocean's 7-Eleven because they're such like trash
pretty good.
heist people.
Like Catherine Langford. Yeah. Michael Shannon, no, because I actually think his character in Shape of Water stole the show a little.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis, no, because Freaky Friday.
Okay. Yeah.
Don Johnson, yeah.
We're not big Miami Vice heads yet. We haven't.
Toni Collette, probably not. I won't see Hereditary.
The one that sticks out in my head is Hereditary.
Yeah, but I loved her in this, so maybe.
Yeah.
And then Christopher Plummer, no.
What is?
Beginners.
Oh yeah.
And Sound of Music.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see. I don't.
So
I haven't seen Sound of Music in a very long time.
Christopher Plummer's iconic, so no.
I just started reading his book last night.
He is.
So we were.
R.I.P.
We were at the Princeton Library, and they do like a book sale every year, and you go in and there's like tons of books for like $2, $3, and then they have this section on the side with like the script for like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone signed by Daniel Radcliffe or whatever.
Yeah.
And that one's
like the MASH finale script.
Yeah.
Signed by all the people.
That one, those are like $70 or whatever. So I looked at those.
Like an original Albert Einstein memoir or like whatever.
I looked at those and I was like, oh, like, these are really cool, but I'm not going to buy these. So I'm going through, and I pick up a couple books, and then I pick up Christopher Plummer's memoir, and I was like, this is something I find cool, even if I never read it. Like, that's just a cool thing to have. So I opened it up, and there's a note from him.
A couple pages in, though, right?
A couple pages in, so it's not right where on the inside cover where something would typically be signed. So we have a copy for $2. I flip a couple pages in, and it's like, to Barb, stay wonderful or something from Christopher Plummer, and it's signed.
Yeah.
Which is one of my most prized possessions.
It's so cute.
I just started reading it last night, and it starts with a bang.
Really?
Apparently it's one of the bigger, like, gossipy memoirs.
Oh.
And it came out in like the late 2000s, so it wasn't quite up to like Knives Out time.
But honestly what I need.
It's got a lot of him. Well, it's got a lot of him like apparently hanging out with like Orson Welles and like these random people in like the 50s, 60s, 70s.
If you're gonna do a memoir, you need to spill the tea.
Yeah, but
I don't like the fake stuff. Tell me who was doing the crazy stuff. Pam Anderson, all the little things that are being revealed about her, she tells.
Yeah.
And you know what? I respect that.
Yeah. Christopher Plummer's book, I'm just so excited to get there because I know we're going to get a lot of stories like that.
King.
Absolutely. Have we ever talked about our favorite like final shots in movies? Because in this one, when you see Marta with her "My House, My Rules, My Coffee" mug, like this, like sort of covering it, where you just see "My House" and she's like sipping from the coffee cup. And then it just cuts and it says, "There's your title card, Knives Out, end of movie." I love that ending.
I like that.
As they're all standing in the driveway looking at her,
really
which is a
good.
reversal from the beginning of the movie when she's in the driveway looking up at them on the balcony.
Good stuff.
It's a nice little callback.
Switcheroo.
Yeah. I think it's a great, great, great final shot.
Mm-hmm. It's memorable.
Yeah. I bought merchandise because of that final shot.
The second that we got out.
That day, we went to Alchemist and Barrister, and I bought this off of Amazon or wherever I got it. 2019.
Good stuff.
Yeah. This was designed for the movie, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
It's great. Yeah, so what are some of your favorite final shots?
So what immediately came to my mind is the 2 freaking John Candy movies.
I wrote those too.
But no, that wasn't my answer. I have so many.
Well, wait. So you're talking about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Uncle Buck.
They end the same
both
exact
of
way.
which have the same freeze frame of John Candy smiling that ends the movie and like waving or whatever.
Yeah, so random.
That's cinema.
The first one that I thought of was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
It's the second one I thought of.
Oh, really? But, like, here's the problem. I don't want to give away too much.
Right. I'm not going to go too far into it.
I'm not really going to go into detail, but that one's great. And that also ends in a freeze frame.
It does.
Fight Club has a really good ending.
It does.
Thelma and Louise. I haven't seen that movie, but the ending, of course, we all know. It's classic. And that, I think, is a freeze frame,
Is it the ending
too.
shot? Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Breakfast Club, again, ends in a
freeze frame.
Wait, do we love freeze frame?
More movies should end in freeze frames. give me like Dune Part 2 ending in a freeze frame.
Totally.
With John Candy, I wish, but
The Shining, I didn't love that movie, but the ending's really good.
I actually don't know the final like shot of that movie.
It's like an old school
photograph. Yes.
Yeah.
Key and Peele parodied it.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I'm gonna wait for this last one, which is my favorite. Prisoners has a really good ending.
It does.
Like last little bit.
It does.
Halloween.
Halloween was the first one I wrote down.
Love that ending.
Yes, which we talked about. Go back and listen to our Halloween episode because I like doing that one.
Speaking of film bros, Inception has a really good last final shot.
It's iconic, I would say, at this point.
Yep. If Beale Street Could Talk has a really good one.
Yes, it does. That's when they're talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't like being glib about the title of the movie, but they're actually talking in that scene.
Call Me by Your Name.
I wrote that too.
Excellent
Didn't love the
last
movie,
thing.
but the ending was amazing.
It's so good. Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Iconic
Which
ending.
they parodied in Spaceballs.
And finally, The Graduate.
Also wrote The Graduate.
The best last final moment.
I've got a couple more.
The best.
Well, I love this.
That it wasn't
I love the story that
planned.
it was sort of improvised. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I have Sunset Boulevard.
Never saw it.
Yeah, you did. We watched it.
Forgot.
It's I'm ready for my close up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Uh, the wrestler.
How does that? I don't remember that
He's
ending.
jumping off the
Oh
ropes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that movie's so good.
So
Marissa Tomei.
there's a movie that I watched recently called Akiru, and it's like a majorly famous Japanese movie that was remade into Living, which just came out this year.
Bill Nighy.
Bill Nighy's nominated for it. And it's just a culmination of the whole movie in a single shot, and it's perfect.
Do you know how I got my Aunt Sue to understand who Bill Nighy was?
No, not the science guy.
Love Actually.
Okay. I have two more. I have The Godfather, which I can kind of spoil this. I'm not really spoiler, but it's when Diane Keaton is like looking at Michael through the door, and he's getting like greeted as the new Don, and she's just like
uh-oh.
Yeah, and then it just cuts. And After Sun.
Oh yeah. Wait, that was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, After Sun is gonna haunt me for the rest of my days in a good way.
Yeah, that was an amazing last shot. And Banshees of Inisherin too had a great one. On the beach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I always forget stuff.
It's
I'm
literally
so dumb.
yeah.
Oh my god, wait, I love last shots of movies.
They can
not make or break,
No,
but
but
like they can stick
with you.
Yeah.
If Call Me by Your Name didn't have that final shot,
I would have been like, well, that was weird.
yeah. Well, not even that was weird. Like, well, that kind of wasn't that good.
The peach thing was weird.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
It's just what it is.
People living.
They're just vibing.
People living.
They're just dancing in Italy.
Yeah. I think that Knives Out is a desert island movie for me.
Why?
Desert island? Deserted island? Desert island.
If it was oh my god, imagine a desert island.
I think that it's a movie that I could watch every day if I had to. I wouldn't want to, but if I had to, I could watch it every day for the rest of my life and not hate it.
Yeah.
By the day I died.
Yeah.
It's just such like a visual treat. The whole thing, the presentation of it, the personalities, the clothes, the production design, all of it. It's just fun.
Sure.
The whole movie is fun.
Yeah, that's very important.
What are some of those movies for you?
High School Musical.
Okay.
The reason why
Stay tuned for the end of this episode when we announce the February
the
movies.
reason why High School Musical is my desert island movie is because I would be able to learn all the choreography.
What about
and I would use the coconut that I have at my desert island as the basketball.
You wouldn't use the volleyball? You wouldn't use Wilson?
No, I wouldn't slam Wilson's head against the ground.
What about no, continue.
I would also learn all the different parts of all the songs. And so I would practice and I would practice, and at the end I would just be really good.
The end of your life?
Yup.
I got kind of carried away with my list. I have a lot.
Of Desert Island movies?
Yeah.
Mine is I only have one VHS. It's High School Musical. All the other ones got destroyed. They're all wet.
What about Greatest Showman?
No. Just no.
You wouldn't learn them all?
No. 1,000 words, baby. That song?
Yes. I have any of the John Wicks. First of all. I can watch them every single day.
No way.
Evil Dead 2, I can watch every single day of my life.
Okay.
Any of like the mid-2000s Will Ferrell movies except for Blades of Glory.
Okay, my other choice was Talladega Nights,
Yeah.
The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
I could do Anchorman. I could do Step Brothers. I could do Semi-Pro. I can't do Blades of Glory.
No, me either.
Old School. I can't do Old School either. That's too.
Nah, I don't like Old School.
Yeah, that's too early. Everybody Wants Some. I've only seen it once, but I feel like I could probably watch it over and over again.
Yeah, sure.
A couple of the Sandlers. Big Daddy, Happy Gilmore.
Wedding Singer?
Yeah, I guess.
50 First Dates?
50 First Dates would probably be my third one, actually.
Look, Drew Barrymore's got to do it over and over again. Why can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Hot Fuzz.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Paddington 2.
Hell yeah.
Sing Street.
Oh, yeah.
Pop Star.
Oh, Pop Star. The Room.
Oh, I didn't even write The Room down. Yeah. Big Lebowski and Princess Bride.
These are all good ones.
Yeah, those are all ones that I could watch pretty consistently. And I don't really rewatch stuff that often.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's on TV, I'll pop it on, whatever. But I could rewatch any of those. And also Terminator 2, I wrote down. That was one of my favorites when I was a kid.
That's cute.
Yeah, I would do all of those. Those would be if I had a giant, theater on like the tree or like the big rock on the island. I would build like a projector. I would siphon electricity from the nearby village, and I would just sit on the beach every night. And I would watch Dodgeball. I also wrote Dodgeball.
That's good.
That's what I'm watching. It's movie night, people. Come on
Yeah.
down to the beach. We're watching Dodgeball.
Maybe I would do like
Cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur.
I'd probably do like one of the first couple seasons of Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Okay, well that counts because that's like you could have that on a Blu-ray.
That's
so,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Now I think it's probably time to get to our recasting.
This is very important.
This is very important stuff. So normally if you have watched a lot of our episodes where we do older movies, like for example, we probably did it for like, I don't know, let's just say Halloween, because it's on the mind. I don't think we did it for that episode, but for example, we would say, recast this movie today, and who should play, Laurie, who should play Michael Myers, whatever.
Yep.
We're going to do it. We're going to do this in reverse. So I decided that we were going to each take a decade, and we were going to recast Knives Out if it were made in that decade, and we have a bonus. So I am recasting Knives Out in the 1980s. Aaron is recasting Knives Out in the 1990s.
Wait. I said the 90s.
What?
The 1890s.
Okay, in the 18...
Buster Keaton.
Oh, man.
Murmidin.
This is the pre-code era silent film, Knives Out.
Oh, my God. Ethel Merman. And then, there's always, a monkey in those old movies. All right, yes, the 1990s.
And Bert the monkey.
Oh, my God.
And we have both recast Knives Out solely with reality TV stars.
Duh.
So we're going to save that for last, obviously, because
So.
that's the best one. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
It's your choice.
No, it's your choice. I just asked you.
You go first
I'll
because
go
the 80s
first.
comes before the 90s.
Okay, and the reality TV era began in the 2000s, so it's a perfect chronological progression.
Jeff Probst.
Yeah, exactly. The 1980s. I'm trying to figure out if there's an order I want to go in here. Let's just start with Harlan. With Harlan, I had a little bit of trouble with this one because I didn't know who was really old in the 80s because it's 40 years ago. I went with Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
I haven't really seen him in that much, but I'm sure he'd be fine.
Cool.
For Marta, it's a little bit early. Unfortunately, in the 80s, there wasn't a lot of very good Latina representation in movies.
True.
So I kind of cheated a little bit. I went with Rosie Perez.
Yeah, I love her.
She's 90s, but I think that she would have a little bit more attitude than Ana de Armas does in this movie, so it'd be a slightly different role. And then if I was taking somebody strictly from the 80s, I would go... I said Michelle Pfeiffer. Why not?
Why not?
Give it to Michelle Pfeiffer. For Linda, who was Jamie Lee Curtis, I put either Helen Mirren or Faye Dunaway.
Good choices.
I think they would both be pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Helen Mirren's a little younger than Linda. Most of these are a little younger than they would have been. Richard, I had either Dustin Hoffman or Martin Sheen.
Yeah, that's good.
I could see either of them. Joni, I think this is one of my favorites. I have the first one that popped into my head immediately was Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, perfect.
From Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But the more we talked about it, the more I thought she also would have been great if she was Rue McClanahan from the Golden Girls.
Heck yeah. Good choice.
Then this one for Meg, who is what's her name's daughter?
Yep.
Joni's daughter. This one I didn't do for the 90s or for the reality TV one, but I thought of Christina Applegate or Winona Ryder.
Yeah,
good
choices.
They both would have been those types of slightly alternative-ish type of person. And now these are my favorites. Walt, the Michael Shannon character, Chevy Chase, or Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Did I say Blanc yet? No. You could go one of two ways with this. So I kind of just did two for all these. Sure. Obviously, you could go one of two ways with this character. You could go with the straight up sincere Tom Hanks, or you could go with the why is this person playing this role, but it kind of makes sense. Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I like those.
I think Harrison Ford would be more like a Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
What is this guy doing? But also he's really
Hanks
good
would
at this.
be cute in that though.
He would be a good detective type of character.
Yeah.
And finally, Ransom. This was the most obvious. It screamed out to me. The first one that I cast, Tom Cruise.
Wild behind the
80s Tom Cruise.
That's perfect.
Risky business Tom Cruise.
Good job.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked that.
You want me to do mine?
Yeah,
now?
do the 90s.
Okay. So for Marta, for the 1990s, I picked Salma Hayek.
Okay.
I was between her and Penelope Cruz,
Yeah.
and I went with Salma Hayek.
Sure. I could see either.
Harlan, I went with Paul Newman.
I considered him for the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he died in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
So he would have been older, but he's got a kindness in his eyes that Christopher Plummer has.
I looked up Paul Newman in the 80s, and I was like, he just doesn't look old enough.
Okay.
He didn't look old enough yet.
I'll wait for Benoit Blanc. For Linda, I said Glenn Close.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For Richard, I said Tim Robbins.
Oh my God. Yeah. Absolutely.
Joni, Julia Roberts.
Okay. Yeah. She would have to tap into like a little bit of self-awareness there, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think she has that.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Meg, I went with Alicia Silverstone
Okay.
because she was so young and clueless that like she could be that young, whatever. Walt, Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, I think that's great. I feel like he's just slightly not malicious enough, but he kind of is. Like in The Fly,
Could
kind
be.
of. Yeah.
Have you seen him in those apartment.com commercials?
Oh man, that is true.
Ransom, Billy Zane.
My Titanic king.
And for Benoit Blanc, Robin Williams.
Yes.
Yep.
Robin Williams would be the perfect Benoit Blanc
I know.
in the 90s.
I know. I felt inspired.
Absolutely.
This was fun. I liked this challenge.
Yeah. Now that the warm-up is over.
Yeah.
We're going to do this one different because we both did reality TV. So this one, we're just going to go by character.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, who did you put for Harlan? And we both have the same Harlan. We started with the same Harlan.
We'll start with Harlan.
And so that we're taking into consideration all the Bravo shows, all the TLC shows, all the, like, everything. Like, even some of the competition shows.
Old MTV shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start with Harlan, and we both said this out loud, and we just cracked up. So we're just going to do the same one. And who was our Harlan?
It's Captain Lee from Below Deck.
From Below Deck. Who else could it be? He's not 85 years old, but you know what?
No, but he's so
This is a fantasy
sweet.
world.
I love Captain Lee.
Yes. All right. Why don't we go with, who did you pick for Marta?
Snooki?
I considered Snooki. I have another Jersey Shore person somewhere else. I went with JoJo Siwa.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, mine from Dance Moms. Yeah, I picked Snooki because although she would have a different take on the character, I feel like she still has the wide-eyed innocence.
She does.
Anna
She
Darm
does.
is stuff.
Absolutely. I think she could play she would be definitely less, shall we say, clued in.
Yes.
But she would definitely.
She would like accidentally get away with everything and be innocent.
That's exactly what Marta did.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, but Snooki would like just forget to give him medicine, and it wouldn't be like that she did it right.
Yeah, I think we should save Blanc for last.
I agree.
Okay, so why don't we go with Linda?
Okay, I said Kris Jenner.
I said Kris Jenner, so I will give you my backup answer, which was Teresa Giudice.
Okay.
I think either of them works
No.
in some messed up way.
Yeah.
I have one Richard. I wrote one Richard. Who's your Richard?
I wrote Jax from Vanderpump Rules because he keeps on cheating on Brittany.
I wrote him for ransom.
Well, that's his dad, so it makes sense.
My Richard is Paul Hollywood.
Oh my god! Paul Hollywood did cheat on his wife.
Did he? I didn't know that.
That makes sense.
He just has the look of somebody who wouldn't be so scrupulous.
Actually, I don't know if Paul Hollywood cheated on his wife. I'll have to look
We'll
back
cut
at
that
the
if
Daily
not. We'll
Mail
cut that if
articles.
not. And if he did, whatever. Joni.
I picked Sonia Morgan from Real Housewives of New York.
I went with no housewives. I just
know
wrote.
that.
Oh well, Teresa Giudice. So,
Yeah,
but
she's a
she was my backup. But whatever. I went with Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's who I was thinking too.
Why not? She was the first one I wrote down for this.
That's good.
I was like, yeah, Joni's Paris Hilton. So for Walt, I have two people and I don't know either of their names.
Okay, well, I picked Johnny Knoxville.
Oh!
Because Walt is like limping.
He's one of my Blancs.
He'd be a great Blanc.
He would
My
be.
Blanc, you're gonna die. Oh my god.
So for Walt, I had 90 Day Fiance guy ?
A Big Ed?
Big Ed. Big Ed. And I also had Southern Charm guy ?
Shep. That's genius.
Both of those are pretty good Walts. Right?
Southern Charm. Wait, do you mean Shep or do you mean
I mean the guy.
Thomas Ravenel?
I mean the guy who's like older and he's
No,
like
it's Thomas.
50 years old and he's like just
The
terrible.
politician? They got kicked off the show?
Maybe.
Or the guy who's like never had a job?
I think I just confused the two of them. Whatever amalgamation of the two of those, because I don't know the difference.
Okay.
Clearly. Ransom. Mine is Jax.
Mine's Jen Shaw.
That's a very good one, too. Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah. I guess you could... yeah. Yeah.
What else do you want?
Jax was my second one that I wrote down. I was like, he's
so
just
good.
he just
That's
is.
so good.
He just is.
He just is. He would be a good Ransom. But let's face it, so would Jen Shaw.
Yes. So we have Blanc left, right?
You go first.
Wait, did you do Meg for this one?
I did. I just picked Elsie from The Hills.
Okay, I didn't know anybody that...
Just because she's sweet.
Yeah.
And like just a little clueless.
Yeah. Okay, so here are our choices for Benoit Blanc cast with reality TV stars.
You go.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
So I had Johnny Knoxville.
It's perfect.
I also had The Miz.
I was considering him.
But my final choice, and it would be a completely different character, of course. It would just be something that just feels in my heart like is right.
Okay.
DJ Pauly D.
You gotta beat that beat up.
I mean, he's a guy. He's gonna get to the bottom of it. He's
That's
just
good.
gonna get to the bottom of it.
That's really good.
Yeah. Who is yours?
Kathy Griffin. Do you know why?
No.
Because she won the Celebrity Mole.
That is perfect. That's it. I actually thought about the mole, but I said I wasn't gonna use celebrities. But that's perfect.
She also was in My Life on the D List, so she's on reality.
That is true. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just wasn't.
Just imagine a Kathy Griffin Benoit Blanc.
Well, you know who was that? The season that Dennis Rodman was the mole, or did Dennis Rodman win the one?
Dennis Rodman.
I loved the mole, by the way, especially Celebrity Mole.
Well, that's why you should go back and watch the Traitors.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, I didn't end up with any Bachelor people on here either.
No, if I were...
None of them are that dynamic.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would have picked like maybe Gabby for Joni or something.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know Gabby?
No.
Okay. Well, we can't all be perfect.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you did this because this was funnier.
So good.
Yeah, so that's our reality TV lineup for...
I think we got a hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Please let us know if you're part of any Hollywood production studio. We would like to get this. We would like to get this started.
Well, listen, it might take about 6 or 7 years. Jen Shaw's unavailable.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's great. Captain Lee, we love him. I mean, hopefully he meets a better end than Harlan did.
Yeah.
This all could have been avoided.
It could very easily too.
And Jax wouldn't be smart enough to pull this off.
Definitely not.
All right. I just got a couple discussions. More comments than discussions. I wrote about the when they first meet Blanc, Joni says, I read a tweet about a New Yorker article about you.
So good.
And then later on, like a few minutes later,
Linda's
like, I read a New Yorker article about you.
Yeah. I love it.
And then when Ransom you see the flashback of him sending the toxicology report, or no, sending the letter to Blanc to get him to join the case. He has opened the New Yorker article on the table.
Kind of shows like he is his mother's son a little bit, like.
And they're all BSers, like,
yeah, right.
Like at the same time. Also, what I didn't really talk about is how like really like racist the Thrombies are.
Yeah, very much so.
And
reminded me of the family from Get Out.
But one of my favorite lines in the entire movie, you know which one I'm going to say, Don Johnson, when he talks about how Marta's from Ecuador, and first he hands her a plate as if she was like
she's
the house.
not from Ecuador.
That's what he says. She's from Ecuador and all that, and then she's like, oh, whatever, like trying just to be nice and like roll it over. Like I'm sure it happens every single day, millions and millions of times. And he just looks at her and goes, immigrants, they get the job done.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Oh,
am I right?
God, so bad.
What do you say? I saw it at the Public.
Yeah, he said I saw it at the Public, which is so genius because unless you're like a musical theatery person, you don't know like what that means.
Yeah.
But like it's basically like saying that you were the first people at a really popular restaurant.
You saw Derek Jeter when he was in the minor leagues.
Exactly, because it's like that was their off-Broadway theater before they transferred to Richard Rodgers from Broadway. So if you saw him at the Public, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. So
I find the Harlan Ransom relationship very interesting.
Yeah.
Because Harlan knows that Ransom is like the smartest one in the family because he's playing him in Go. He plays him in Go a lot.
Right.
And he says that Marta is the only person that beats him more than Ransom beats him. There's so much, like, if this was a more serious drama, they could flesh that relationship out. There's so much like disappointment and but also respect that you can feel between on both ends, like towards the other person.
Yeah.
And some of the other relationships and characters can feel slightly caricatured, but I think that besides the Harlan Marta relationship, the Harlan Ransom relationship is probably my favorite part of the movie.
It really grounds
And you don't
Ransom as a character.
And you don't get any of it. Like you get like tiny little glimpses of it. You don't.
Yeah.
They only
fill in the blanks.
they only share like a half a scene together.
Yeah.
And I'm not known to be like the most crazy rabid Chris Evans fan, but I think he's amazing in this movie.
He's so good.
He's great.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he wears the sweater.
He really does. Oh, something I read about the in the trivia thing was that like let me see what it was. So regarding his clothes, Rian Johnson was talking to the costume designer, and he was like, he thought Ransom would have these beautiful, amazing, expensive clothes and just treat them like garbage.
Yeah.
And the costume designer ran with it, and like the there's holes in the sweaters, there's holes in his shoes. Right. He's the loafers are distressed. Like that's the type of like character they were looking for him to be, where he's like he's got all this and he doesn't know what to do with it because he's so spoiled and he's so much like the rest of the family. Totally. That he's even another generation removed from it. It's like he's like almost old money now, because he's 2 generations out. And I just think that's a perfect little character thread.
This is a good movie.
Yeah. April. Well, I had like one other thing and then just a couple little trivias and then I'm done. Oh, speaking of Ransom, there's a point early in the movie when Blanc is like, "Oh, dogs are a great judge of character."
Yeah.
And then as soon as Ransom shows up for the will reading, they're all attacking him.
And it's funny because Chris Evans loves dogs.
Well, Rian Johnson was like, it was so great because everybody knows that like dogs love him and he loves dogs and all that. So it was like a fun sort of in-joke scene to have with Chris Evans being that person.
That's funny.
Okay, what else do we got here? Despite playing his mother in the film, Kay Callan is 6 years and 27 days younger than Christopher Plummer.
That's funny.
And she looks ancient in that movie. It's like the way that they did it. Dogs love Chris Evans and Chris Evans loves dogs. It was Don Johnson's idea for his character to hand the empty plate to Marta as if she was the maid during the immigration conversation. Johnson said that I had written into the script that Blanc speaks with a subtle Southern accent.
That's iconic.
He then explains, after they all finished laughing at the interview, he explained that Daniel Craig researched accents and became attached to historian Shelby Foote's cadence and drawl. So it's kind of that. It's a little Foghorn Leghorn, and it's a little Harlan Pepper, which is Christopher Guest's character in Best in Show.
Yes.
Which is funny because Christopher Guest is Jamie Lee Curtis's husband.
Yes.
Fun little thing with the names. The Thrombies are named after 1970s rock stars. So Richard Thompson and Linda Thompson are from Fairport Convention. Joni is Joni Mitchell. Neil, who is her husband that died, is Neil Young.
Yep.
Walt and Donna are Walter Becker and Donald Fagen of Steely Dan.
Ah, there you go.
Except Ransom, who is named after a C.S. Lewis character.
Oh, okay.
This is Daniel Craig and Christopher Plummer's second collaboration after a movie we watched. A murder mystery we watched.
What was it?
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
In which Craig played an investigative reporter and Plummer the old patriarch of a wealthy family.
That is true.
Same exact dynamic there. I like the book a lot. The book is better. While filming the big reveal at the end of the movie, Johnson, he had originally done it so that it was like sort of shorter, but he was really surprised to find out that Daniel Craig knew every line of that monologue. So if you notice, all the shots are really long takes. Like the whole thing is kind of one take. So he was just like, we're just going to let it roll.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to keep cutting so that he can say the next line, the next line, and the next line. We're just going to keep rolling. And he ended up altering the way he shot other scenes because the cast was really good at remembering their lines and everything. And he found that Craig's performance became better and better the more he just kind of let him snowball. Mm-hmm. What else? Oh, finally. Harlan asks Marta how she always beats him at Go. Do you remember what her response was?
No.
She says, "You're playing to win. I'm playing to build a beautiful pattern."
Yes.
This nicely foreshadows Marta's arc. While the Thromby family members try to lie, cheat, and manipulate their way into inheriting the estate, she's the only person who ever even attempts to do the right thing. like when she saves the housekeeper and when she, confesses and all that, even at her own expense. And she ends up inheriting everything and winning by doing the same thing she was doing at the beginning of the movie.
A beautiful pattern.
Yes. So that's all the trivia I've got.
Beautiful.
Any other comments here? Let's see.
This movie's good.
It really is great. I think this might be a little bit of a reach here, but I think that, like, what's the point of Ransom's name? Hugh Ransom Drysdale. The thing that I keep coming back to is his initials, HRD, which feels like hired. I feel like it might be a reference to, like, that's who hired Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a weird name. Why is it right? Why Ransom? That's not a name.
I don't know.
Right? I feel like it has to have something to do with some sort of, like, clue or something cryptic.
Held ransom.
Yeah, I guess.
Something about money.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But I don't know. I thought of the initials and I was like, is that a clue that he was the one who hired Daniel Craig? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see that anywhere. It just popped into my head. And the only other thing I have is that Edie Patterson is so great in The Righteous Gemstones. Yeah. So does Knives Out make Baby's first watch list?
Yeah.
To the surprise of no one. What are your takeaways?
Takeaways are, be nice.
That was the first one I wrote. I changed it though. I changed it to do things your own way if that's how you feel it should be done and if that's what's right. For example, the way that Marta plays Go, as opposed to chess, which I think Ransom is playing at one point. And she doesn't play to win. She doesn't play out of some sort of hubris. She just plays.
Mm-hmm.
Plays to make a beautiful pattern.
I play Scrabble to win.
Play your life to make a beautiful pattern.
Maybe I will this time.
And second, consider people's motives, but don't be paranoid. If we've raised him right, then he should grow up in an environment where no one is at each other's throats like this.
Well, we'll see.
Vying for their own personal gain. I like to think we're nice people. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's going to get into a huge death rivalry with April.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, so those are our takeaways. That's Knives Out.
Great.
Yeah.
Pauly D in the house.
Yeah, exactly. One other line I liked was when I just want to do a Benoit Blanc voice again. One of my friend Mark does such a good
I believe
Benoit
that.
Blanc.
I believe that.
But he was doing the voice before the movie came out.
Well, even better.
The one Blanc line I wrote down was when he said, "Physical evidence can tell a true story with a forked tongue."
Yeah.
It's like that line is so good.
It's so funny.
Oh man, that's method, people. That's method acting.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Still
so
has that accent, just like Austin Butler.
oh yeah, still hasn't spoken to his family. Sorry, Austin. If you listened to our last episode, I got a little bit carried away. I respect you and what you've done, and congratulations on the nomination.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we're at the end.
Congratulations on the Carrie project.
We're at the end of our Dune Part 2. We're at the end of our January already.
Wow, this month has been endless.
Yes, it has. It really has. Anyway, so next week we're going to be doing Step Brothers, which was originally supposed to be this episode, actually, today.
The COVID week.
We had to push it back. Of course, if you haven't seen it, you're living under a rock. Farrell, O'Reilly.
My dad hasn't watched it.
Really?
Yeah. I know.
Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly. I put O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly. Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly.
O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Meow.
Richard Jenkins, Mary Steenburgen, Catherine Hahn, Adam Scott, directed by Adam McKay. It's on Peacock. So, I don't know. If you have Peacock, you can watch it. If not, whatever.
Yeah, Peacock. I watch everything on Peacock.
The rest of the month, we have 3 other movies we're going to be doing. High School Musical.
Yay, my Desert Island movie.
Which will be on the 14th. And then on the 21st, we're going to be doing a very special secret guest episode, which means we haven't figured it out yet. But there will be a guest and there will be an episode. And finally, we will be doing 1989's, I believe, Roadhouse, which is
See? Ends in 9.
which I just watched a few days ago, and that movie is freaking insane.
I'm
going to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again. It's Patrick Swayze.
He's doing his darndest.
It's a doozy. There's a lot of broken glass. There's a terrible villain. Flies a helicopter. It's awful. It's truly 80s cheese. It's awful, and I cannot wait to discuss it. So stay tuned to our Instagram. at Baby's First Watch List. You'll see when all these drop and all that. Rate, review, subscribe, follow. We are everywhere we are Baby's First Watch List. I don't think we're not like on Facebook or anything, but we're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Baby's First Watch List. Please follow, subscribe, rate, review, all that, all the good stuff. And so that's Knives Out. We'll see you next week.
Party.